Divorce, the legal termination of a marriage, otherwise than from death, or granting a decree of nullity. According to Paul Amato, a top divorce rate researcher, 42 to 45% of marriages will end in divorce. 50% of children will witness the divorce of their parents. In 1991, a study was done of children from which the parents were divorced from 6 years earlier. The study found that even after all that time, these children tended to be lonely, unhappy, anxious, and insecure. The study was done from childrenanddivorce.com. Children from divorced homes have more psychological problems than children from which one of their parents has died. How can children with divorced parents be helped to do well in school, have strong relationships, and go on to have successful marriages? As a child that comes from a divorced family, as well as being recently divorced with 3 children of my own, in this speech I am going to inform you how children are not the product of their environments and how they can in fact flourish in their own relationships and be put in the same category as children with both biological parents still married. When I was 3 years old, my parents got divorced. Long story short, I ended up not really having a relationship with my father due to some of the decisions he made. And my mother, on the other hand, remarried 5 different times. Obviously, it was not the ideal situation to grow up in, but I never let it get the best of me. I ended up graduating from high school at the top of my class and even went on to play softball at Southeastern Oklahoma State University. But my freshman year, due to unforeseen circumstances, I got pregnant with my first daughter, Grace. Grace's dad and I never married. However, we were together for we were together for 2 years after we had her. I think that being in a relationship with someone and having a child with that person, but not ever getting married, is just the same as being married, except for having a piece of paper saying that you are. When we decided to no longer be in a relationship, he and I made the joint decision to have Grace 50% of the time, joint custody. We would have joint birthday parties, share holidays, and we would be on the same page about rules. We would consult with one another before we decided to do anything at all that had to do with her. Grace turned 12 this past summer and started her first year in middle school in the 7th grade, so it's fair to say that we've had our fair share of parent-teacher conferences. Every single year, all of Grace's teachers will tell us how well behaved she is, and she has always had straight A's, and just how good of a well-behaved child she is. She is one of the most respectable, compassionate, and just all-around good people that you will ever meet. Fast forward to meeting my ex-husband. Grace was 2 years old, and he and I were in a relationship for 3 years. Before we got married. Right after we got married, we found out we were pregnant with my second daughter, Reese, and 2 years later, we found out we were pregnant with my son, Parker. We were married for almost 6 years total. During that time, I endured years of fidelity, verbal and physical abuse, and neglect. After seeing what like a lifetime of a living hell, I finally got the courage to leave and file for divorce. I stayed for so long, though, because I wanted my kids to bear witness to what would be a good marriage. It's like to make your marriage work, to think that no matter what, you don't leave, you don't quit, you give up on it because, again, of our statistics of divorce. But what I actually realized I was doing was that I was teaching them to be with somebody that treated them that way, and I was also teaching them that it was okay to treat somebody that way. In June of 2018, I decided to leave and I filed for divorce. But they have absolutely thrived ever since. They do well in school, they have amazing friends, they are all very well behaved, and their father is only a part of their life about 10% of the time. So my point in all of this is, do children become a product of their environment and become a statistic just because their parents got divorced? Absolutely not. I have experience in both aspects of what the outcome could be, having a father that's 100% involved in his child's life versus having a father that's hardly there at all. I believe that at the end of the day, as long as the child is shown love and compassion and consistency and stability, they will develop their own kind of relationship and their own perspective about how things should be. One last quote is, and this was according to childrenanddivorce.com. Statistics show that children of divorce do worse at school and in college, have more difficulties to involve in social relationships, and have higher divorce rates themselves. But those are just statistics, averages that do not apply to everybody. Fortunately, there are also many examples of children that thrive after divorce. Those divorced parents did not accept this mediocre perspective. They chose differently. They aimed for a happy, bright, and thriving future for their children, for themselves, and themselves after a divorce. They took action with or without professional help, and they succeeded. At the end of the day, everyone has a story to tell, whether it be they divorced their spouse just because they could not get along anymore, or that they are a victim of domestic violence. How you choose to tell it and how you choose for it to affect your children is completely up to you. I hope that no matter what, you choose to put your children on top of your priority list and give them every opportunity possible to succeed.